Hey guys, welcome to a brand new episode of Hot Projects, where we take a look at some of the biggest games on the blockchain right now. We have big things happening in the crypto space with Gala Games token doing 57.28% change in the past 24 hours. If we go back 7 days, we're looking at 130% bump on this, over 2x. And that's huge. Being that we've been such a big bear market, this is really good. So we're going to take a look at Gala Games token and everything that goes on with that, because it has a huge selection of games, both already ready and to come. We see Solana doing really well at the moment. So £13.27, around $16. Looking really good. It's done more than that. More than 18% over the past 7 days as well. It had a low of around, I think it was 7.99. Could have caught it around $9.48, $9.48. That's when I first saw it and thought this is a really good bottom, I think, for Solana token. So anybody who got in that is doing very well. We see ADA token doing really well. So Cardano, Immutable X up 15%, Sand up 13.99%. Basically, you could have invested in any tokens at the moment and be doing very well. Some of the popular ones, we see Bitcoin up as well. BNB doing 6.21%. Yeah, big things happening in crypto space. I think this is the biggest movement I've seen in a long while. We've had a few kick-ups where, you know, we see a lot of green, but especially in terms of the gaming tokens, Gala Games doing really well. So let's get into today's episode and take a look at Gala Games and some other projects that are worth keeping an eye on. So why has the Gala token seen such a rise? Well, I think this is a really good piece of information that shows why it'll have had a boom, and that's because they announced that they are developing 2 films with The Rock, aka Dwayne Johnson, and Mark Wahlberg, 2 absolutely huge forces in the entertainment industry. Yeah, this is a big move for them. So they're gonna have Gala Film, which is going to use the Gala token as its own gas token, because Gala Film will be on the blockchain. Millions of fans interested in The Rock and Mark Wahlberg, or Ghosts of Ruin, or David Bianchi's RZR Razor, all will be collecting digital items. These items will be needing gas, and that gas is the Gala Games token. So this is huge. We've got Go Gala Films and also Go Gala Music. So diversifying from just gaming, we see them actually making 2 pivots around music and film, which huge moves, and explains why 2x has happened. You know, what we're going to see there is a bunch of extra utility for this token where it didn't have it before, and anytime you add utility to a token, you're going to see a bump in it. So aside from that, if you're not familiar with what Gala Games is the biggest gaming platform at the moment. As you know, this token is associated with multiple different gaming titles. So if we go to the games section, we can see that they currently have Spider Tanks available. This is a game that you can play now. Spider Tanks is a game that you can play now. Here's the trailer for it. So this is live now, available to download, and you can pick up one of these NFTs, or you can actually rent. So the game is very accessible. Spider Tanks have assembled. It is a 3v3 battler, so not an auto battler. As you can see, very interactive, way more up to date than most games out there on the blockchain. Variety of custom loads and weapons that, you know, add a little bit of diversification to your strategies, to your gameplay. See a variety of different ways that you can move, so typical tanks, or you got these legs, and different abilities that can be used, rockets that can be fired long distance and knock your opponent out. So yeah, this is just a really good kind of first step for them in terms of, you know, they've already got some games out there that have been doing really well, but I think this is the most complex one. So we've got Townstar. Townstar was an early release for them. Play to earn. As you can see, it's kind of typical growing into a town, farming, things like that. Very popular and easy to access, easy to play. but they just seem to be developing more complex games now that are more up to date with games outside of the crypto space. They have Superior currently in early access. This is a roguelike third-person shooter. So I really love the style of it. They've definitely gone for a unique style. It's kind of got a comic style to it for sure, and I think this is just kind of adding a different style of gameplay to the metaverse. We have more games. Miranda's being a fancy RPG coming from them. We've got Legacy, Echoes of Empire, Legends Reborn, Age of Chance, Champions Arena, Grit, the Ride or Die Battle Royale, and love the kind of style of this. The first game launching on Epic's Game Store. 3 going mainstream. So yeah, this is kind of the first early ones out there that could potentially grab a lot of people from outside the NFT gaming space. We have the Grit. Looks like it could be a lot of fun. We've got Fortitude, a tower defense game. Battlestar Galactica, Eternity, a strategy 4X MMO. The Walking Dead Empires, which is a survival MMORPG. So they're really getting involved with some big IPs out there, which is huge for the NFT gaming space, being that a lot of games have often imitated popular, games, popular genres, popular things like Pokemon. I've seen a lot of imitations of that. And it's nice to see them actually linking up with big names out there. Eternal Paradox, Town Crush, Last Expedition. So many games coming in this metaverse. And if any project is going to go mainstream, Gala Games is probably going to be the first to do it. Getting into music, decentralizing music ownership in the new Web3 world of music is huge. It's a unique idea, but I think it's really exciting that they're getting into music and film. So we see some of the films here. We've got Ghost of Ruin, Razor, action adventure sci-fi, The Making of the Chronic, featuring Snoop Dogg retelling the story behind the Chronic, Dr. Dre's iconic 1992 hip-hop album, 4 Down. So kicking things off with some less adventurous films, but then probably coming into creating some really high quality. You've obviously got 2 actors there, big names, Dwayne Johnson and Mark Wahlberg, but what you do need to get is the creation of something huge, like something that is going to be really good, that is going to make people to download this or be able to get involved in this. But what you're going to need from a film that is featuring strong actors like that is something that is going to pop, something that is going to be doing really well in terms of ratings and make people want to see it. And if the only way you can see it is through the Galaverse, so actually going through Gala Film, then you start to pick up more people outside of the crypto space. Music beta, again, another great way to attract new people to the crypto space. Music has and always will be huge, and there will always be new artists, and this is a new thing that might give some new opportunities to some new artists. So again, what you just need is a few artists that pop off, and if they are strictly running through Gala Music, it limits people's access to things. What you're going to see though is I think people are going to need to make deals to strictly be run through Gala Music, because otherwise if you start going on other popular platforms, they're going to establish themselves there and not need Gala Music. So it'll be interesting to see how things work through that. But a huge change in the Galaverse, which I think is definitely why we've seen such a huge increase, nearly 1 billion in volume over the past 24 hours, market cap of 210 million pounds. Isn't that big for what it is? And obviously if you take a look at the long picture of going back 1 year ago, I believe it's like an 87% drop from where it was. So we can do 1 week, can we do 1 year, we can do 1 month. I mean, if you take a look at the bigger picture on Gala Games, where it's been, then you've obviously got a huge huge reduction. I think it's something like 87% reduction in the past year alone, going from a high of 84 cents or 84 pounds, because it'll be in pounds for me, all the way down to 3 pence, almost 4 pence now. Yeah, huge drop, but that's where it's been. Does it have the potential to go back there? You know, well, if it did, even if you picked it up now, you're seeing a 20x if it went up there. More than that, about 25x. So huge potential to make a lot if we do see a bull run come back, and if we start to see Gala being one of those figureheads for that big jump in price, and maybe that will instill more confidence in the market, because I think it has that kind of trickle down effect if you start to see tokens do very well on a very consistent basis. But Gala Games isn't the only big figure out there. Illuvium is almost as big in terms of, you know, the token price. So we see that up 7.5% today, $42. This has a market cap of 85 million. So about half of what, just over half of what Gala Games token is. And this is, again, kind of a diversifying its game types in terms of it'll have open world, auto battler. It will also have a very much kind of mobile friendly Illuvium 0, which is a base builder. The big difference between Gala Games and Illuvium is Gala Games has way more diversification in terms of the games that it has, a lot more different genres and different single game titles. They're not connected, so it's not like you can earn kills in Grit and use some of the NFTs in that for Battlestar Galactica. What you would be able to use is some of the tokens, you know, if you're in Gala Games token, but they don't have that, you know, connection between the games. Whereas Illuvium, all the games, all the different genres are connected together. So big announcement for them. Zero is now available for download on Windows, Mac, Android devices. If you own an Illuvium land plot of any tier, you can start playing now. If not, head to the illuvium.io. There you can trade. So if we click on land, here you can actually buy some land. So if we go down to like here, we can see we can buy now for 0.45 ETH, and then you can start playing. So what is Zero? So this is a base builder, so you can build on your land. So there's a nice little ramfire.io guide for you to be able to check out if you want to kind of learn how to get on with it day one. We've got a gameplay video of how to set up land for the first time, so they run through the description of the game. In terms of quality, I think, you know, we see a vast difference in gameplay graphics to the NFT overworld, because it's a different style of game. I mean, for what it is, I think the graphics are enough and it looks good. You know, they've got that Illuvium vibe to it, like kind of neon-esque within the buildings. And so you are, if anybody's familiar with a base builder, you know, you're trying to build up different buildings that collect different resource types, and you'll get different goals and activities to do along the way. So daily mission here, collect silicon. Main missions, collect 10,000 carbon, and you get rewards for claiming those. Personally, I'm not a massive fan of base builders. I think they've been done a lot, you know, since we saw Clash of Clans. Clash of Clans was the first big base build that I ever played, and really loved it. Got into it, loved the battling. But on its own, I'm not a massive fan. But what you could see is obviously getting some of the resources linking into the other games or overworld, and that's going to have a lot of utility for it for people who are, you know, really invested in getting some resources for that. And the difference though in crypto is that the resources that you earn in the game will have values and utilities throughout different games, and therefore it might open up a bit more opportunity for you to play these games and get something out of it that you actually require for other games. So it gives a chance for people to explore different genres, and I think that's always a good thing. We can see the different units that you've got, Illuvium blueprints, structures, so plenty to do in that. Definitely worth checking out. I mean, obviously you can download it for free. If you haven't got a building, you can pick one up now as well. Actually, you might have a base as big as this, collecting loads of different resources. And if this becomes big, you know, you could be getting in very, very early, starting and earning some of those resources for later on in the game. And if you are a free player, they also have a giveaway of 5 tier 1 lands. So you can follow the steps there. That's going to be open the next 6 days. So 3 days left on that. 5 lucky people will actually win a tier 1 land for free. So enter the Glean competition. I'll put a link to their Twitter down in the description below, along with all the other games that we're covering today. In other news, we see Mist NFT, the Mist Metaverse, actually going live today at 6 p.m. UTC. So the game they announced is ready for the pre-alpha tests, open to all players. Mac version goes live. So this is the Mac build though, so you do need to be a Mac user. I'm not a Mac user, but gives a lot of people opportunities to get involved in this. If you're not aware of what Mist is a very, very old project in terms of that it was very early in the NFT gaming space. They came out with their token. They came out with some plans for what the game would look like. They really revamped that look since it originally came out, and we've seen graphics going from very blocky, very kind of weak in terms of artwork, to a more refined version of a game, and looks a lot more crisp. So we've got an MMO RPG here, which is looking to be very, very good. I think from where it was, it's done really, really good things. Early releases of some of the game footage look good, look very, very crisp. The battle gameplay looks pretty good. So we can see here using different abilities. We see a ranged unit fighting what looks like more of a melee unit because it has a giant flaming sword. Using a special abilities as well. I think those abilities will add a lot of strategy and skill to the game. So, I mean, I've had an NFT for this project for the game character for a long, long time now. I remember when it's first sold, they were selling for a lot, and actually where it is now, I think you can pick them up at a fairly reasonable price if you do want to get involved in this. This is only pre-alpha that it will be in, that you'll be able to play from today for Mac users. And what will be interesting to see is how the alpha, the pre-alpha, compares to the final version. I think we're a way off that. I think we'll probably see, you know, towards the end of this year, where we've got a final refined project for everybody to be able to play. We're thinking pre-alpha now, 3 months from now, alpha, 3 months from that, beta, and then 3 months from that to the end of the year. I think that's when hopefully we'll see this in full launch. But you know, it's nice to see that they have really developed on what their initial concept for this game was. But I think we need gameplay as soon as possible. We need to be able to play these games so they can get a head start on some of the other projects out there. Let me know your thoughts on Mist. Do you think it has legs to be able to go the distance and do well in the NFT gaming space? So I think we've had a big focus on Gala Games. We've taken a look at Illuvium and Mist. I think we're going to leave it there for this week. So let me know down below, have you been personally invested in Gala Games? Did you pick up the token when it bottomed at around 15 cents and from then has seen a 1.5x? We were able to catch it. Personally, I didn't catch it at all. We had a bit of a heads up from On-Chain Gaming. You should go check him out. He picked up $3,000 worth of this around about when it was at... When did he pick it up? I know he picked it up a fairly good price. That's 15 minutes. So if we go on for hourly, I was awake at 12, yeah, on the 7th. And it was sitting at 0.24. So he's probably seen a nice 50% bump from when he released that. Definitely worth going to check out his channel. He produces some great content and has partnership already with Gala Games, so go check him out. Okay, so we'll leave it there for today. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's episode. If you have, please leave a like on the video. Hit subscribe if you want to keep up to date with future content. That is all from me. See you guys soon.